All right, welcome to today's session, everyone. Today's about the art of pitching. So we're going to look at a couple of different types of pitch. We're going to talk through some structures that we use at Robot Mascot to formulate these types of pitch. So it's going to be a bit more practical than some of the theoretical talks that I give. So hopefully you'll get a lot from today. So without further ado, I'll jump into it. So we'll start off with the usual. We'll introduce Robot Mascot to those of you who are new and haven't been on one of these events before. So Robot Mascot, we specialize in creating investment materials that convince investors. We create business plans, financial projections, pitch materials. We create valuation reports so that entrepreneurs have all of the assets that they need to convince investors. And when we do this, when we apply our methodology, our clients become 30 times more likely to raise investment versus the industry benchmark, the industry average. And that's led us to being recognised as the UK's leading pitch agency and trusted by the likes of Crowdcube, Cedars, Dent Global, and a number of others as well. So essentially what our vision at Robot Mascot is to see to see a world really where great ideas and innovations flourish. And we do this by putting an end to great ideas failing because of poor communication. So many investors tell us that the biggest reason, about 80% of the investors I speak to say that the biggest reason that they don't pull the trigger or they don't get involved in further discussions with founders is because of a lack of communication across their business idea or their business model itself. They just don't understand what it is or how it's actually going to deliver a return on investment. So that's the problem that we fix. But we love just making pioneers credible to investors, brands credible to their audience. And we just believe that when powerful things happen, when great innovation meets inspiring communication. So that's what we do at Robot Mascot. I want to say a big thank you to anyone today who's bought a ticket for good. For those of you who have been on these events before, you know that we offer a ticket for good for these sessions, and when we do that money goes to help support entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs in Kenya, to build a business and get their families out of poverty, providing life essentials such as food and clothing, build better homes, pay for their children's school fees. So a massive thank you if you've been able to help us support these women in Kenya to draw their families and their communities out of poverty. So let's kick things off. So here's the thing. Too many great ideas are failing because of poor communication. Your pitch kind of merges into kind of a big kind of backdrop of dreary blandness. Like no one really understands what it is you do. You don't stand out from the competition. So people don't get what you do. You find it hard to articulate what you do, and you just seem like everybody else. And when this happens, when you're not able to pitch effectively, too many founders find themselves wasting investment opportunities, partnership opportunities, sales opportunities, all because they can't pitch their idea properly. So hopefully we'll give you some structures today to solve these things, give you some standout, and stop this happening. Stop that zombie stare when you tell someone about your idea and your business and you just get that blank, glazed over look. This is what we want to avoid, and hopefully by the end of today's session you'll have a bit more of an idea of how you can structure your communication to do exactly that. So before we jump into this, it's good to just give you a bit of a background. And there's actually 7 types of pitch you're probably going to come across and need to get good at as an entrepreneur throughout your entrepreneurial journey. So the first is the elevator pitch, the best answer to, so what is it you do? You can tell this to your mates down the pub, you can tell it to your nan, to your 7-year-old niece, or to a corporate, a CEO that's about to offer you a brilliant partnership deal. So that's the elevator pitch. We all know about that. Then there's the teaser pitch. This is a pre-runner pitch to all of the following pitches on the list. It's kind of the overview of what you do. It just gives enough information, something you might deliver in 5 to 10 minutes that gives people an overview of what you're trying to achieve. So If you're pitching for investment, you might attend pitch events and all you have is 5 minutes to pitch. That's where your teaser pitch comes in. Or you might send it out to someone ahead of a meeting to say, here's an overview of what we do ahead of our meeting. And then you talk through that teaser pitch in the meeting. So, and then you've got your scheduled pitch. A scheduled pitch is something like this. This is a scheduled pitch. This is me telling you about what our expertise are at Robot Mascot. It's a public talk or a presentation given via Zoom or something like that to a group of people. So a scheduled pitch is where you're scheduled to come in and deliver some value to someone, but ultimately you are pitching your business at the same time. Then you've got your sales pitch. I think that's fairly self-explanatory. Where you're pitching to a boardroom to try and get their buy-in on your product or service. You've got your partnership pitch where you're trying to get other people to join you on your vision and partner and offer an exchange of services. You might do product partnerships. You might do audience partnerships. So we often do partnerships with Seed Legals and Crowdcube, and we help each other out by hosting events for each other, giving each other access to each other's audiences. They're great partnership opportunities, and they only come about when you're able to pitch your vision into someone and make them want to join you on your vision and combine the power together to create something special. Then you've got the investment pitch. You've heard me talk a lot about investment pitches. And then finally, at the end of your entrepreneurial journey, you're going to be needing to pitch an exit. You're going to need to pitch your business to someone to buy it. So you're going to need to get good at delivering that kind of pitch as well. So they're typically the 7 types of pitch you'll use throughout your journey as an entrepreneur. You'll be seeking investments, partnerships, sales, exit pitches. You'll be delivering talks, and all of those would start off with an elevator pitch and a teaser pitch to build relationships. So that's what we're going to focus on today. We're going to focus on the elevator pitch and the teaser pitch today. So what I'm going to talk about today can be applied to any of the other 5 pitches, the precursor to those remaining 5 pitches on the list. So whether you're sitting here today looking to pitch for investment, or whether you're thinking you're going to need to pitch partnerships or you're pitching for sales, the formulas that I'm going to share with you today will resonate and will be able to be used in any of those situations. So all of those 7 pitches, regardless of what you're trying to do, those pitches have to center around your core vision. The whole idea of a pitch is to enroll somebody into your vision. It's going to inspire people to join you on your journey. Whether that's a prospect, a partner, or an investor, it's all about getting people to buy emotionally into your vision before they even try to buy into your products or services. So when I talk about your vision, a lot of founders get confused between their brand vision and what their strategic objectives are, what their strategic vision is. So when I talk about vision, I'm not talking about you wanting to be a global company or you wanting to be a B Corp or whatever. That's a strategic vision. Your vision here is what you believe in, what you care about, how you're going to change the world. It's that big brand vision that people can get excited about, regardless of whether they want your services or not. So for Robot Mascot, our vision at the center of all the pitches we deliver is that we want to see great ideas and innovations flourish. So this principle guides everything that we do, and we've niched this down into investor communication more specifically. So we saw too many great ideas failing to raise investment because of poor communication. So we decided to niche our branding agency. That we started life as a branding agency, and we decided to niche that down over the years into investor communication, creating business plans, financial projections, pitch decks. But we've never lost sight of this guiding principle. Everything that we do at Robot Mascot is to see great ideas and innovations flourish, and we do that through improving investor communications. There's hundreds of other ways we could do it, but that's not what our core competency is. Our core competency is around investor communications, so that's the way that we solve it. So it's about everything that you do. So it's why we do the work we do. It's why I've written a book, so people can learn what we do and hopefully apply that and get the same successes as our clients. It's why we offer free resources on our website. It's why I'm here today giving you this free talk, because what we fundamentally want to be able to achieve is great ideas and innovations flourish. So you have to get really clear before you even start creating your pitch as to what that core vision is, so that you can mold your vision around that, because until you've got that nailed, you're going to struggle to get people on board with what you do, and you're going to struggle to excite people on joining you on that journey. So let's jump into the elevator pitch and have a look at the formula that we use when we deliver an elevator pitch, and advise our clients as well to do the same. So the elevator pitch is that 30 to 40-second pitch, and you really want to have it memorized. Like I said before, it's the best answer to give to the "so what is it you do" question. Now, the formula I'm going to share, I'm going to pre-warn you that when you first practice this, when you first try and implement this, it may feel really cheesy. You might feel really uncomfortable because it feels scripted, or it feels like you're talking about things you're not so comfortable talking about, because it's going to ask you to really, promote what's awesome about you. And we tend not to be very good, especially in the UK. Us Brits aren't particularly good at bigging ourselves up. So it might feel a little bit uncomfortable, but to everyone else who's listening to you, it doesn't feel cheesy. It feels powerful. They listen to it and they go, wow, this person is someone who I want to find out more about. It's someone that I feel like I can have a conversation with. They sound really like they know their stuff and they can make things happen. So trust me, it makes it feel, it might feel a bit strange to begin with, but to everyone listening, it feels super powerful. So this is the formula. There's 5 steps. There's about a sentence for each one. And it's the introduction, so who you are, your niche, your origin, your goals, and your vision. And we're going to go into these in a bit more depth. But let me give you my elevator pitch. This is the way I would approach it with Robot Mascot if I was to meet someone in the street. So I'd say, I'm James Church, the COO of Robot Mascot. We create pitch materials that convince investors. We're 30 times more likely to raise investment, and we're the trusted pitch partner to Crowdcube, Seeders, and Seed Legals. We're currently oversubscribed with clients, and we're looking to rapidly scale up capacity. And our big vision is to put an end to great ideas failing because of poor communication. So that would be it. And then you would leave it and you'd wait for the person that you're speaking to respond. So that would be how this formula works out. So it's clear, it's concise, it's to the point, it gets across those key things that people need to understand about your business, and then you can move on into conversation there. So let's jump into each of those individual stages. So let's have a look at the introduction. Now this sounds simple, right? You've just got to say who you are. It's your full name, your position, and your company. That shouldn't be too difficult. You should all know your name, you should all know your position, and you should all know what company you work for. Now, where people actually struggle is they forget. They just say, hi, I'm James, and I'm the founder of Robot Mascot. Well, I can't look up James on LinkedIn. I'm going to have to remember your company name. We're normally better at remembering people's names. So you need to say your name, your full position, and your company. So don't forget to actually tell them who you are. The other thing that people get wrong is in this part is the pronunciation of their name. So I have to, so my name, James Church, the S and the CH of James Church, when I say it, sometimes blends together and I kind of say James Church, and the church sounds like a shirt and it becomes a little bit inaudible to people. So I've had to train myself to say it slower and pronounce my own name properly, right? And it seems bonkers, right? You can't pronounce your own name, but you say it so often that sometimes it can be a case of just slowing down a little bit and thinking about the pronunciation of your name or your brand name, so people can grasp it, people have a chance to remember it. So it sounds really simple, the introduction, but it's often a place that people trip up. So But that bit should be pretty simple to write. It's your name, your position, and your company. Then you need to get into your niche. You need to explain what it is you do, and possibly what results it gets. So it depends where you are in your journey. At the very least, it needs to explain what it is you do. If you're an early stage startup, if you're pre-revenue, you might not have any results. But if you are in a later stage company and you've got some clear results that you can share, that would be really useful to do, because people remember that. People remember those success stories. So it needs to be, this sentence needs to be something everyone will recognize and everyone will understand. So you really need to write this elevator pitch as if you're writing this to a 7-year-old or to a 97-year-old, people who maybe take a little bit more explaining of things to. So it doesn't need to sound clever. The trick to a powerful pitch here is to actually dumb it down. And when you dumb it down, you actually have more impact because people get what you do. So for example, one of our clients may have introduced themselves in this as, their niche being, we're a fintech SaaS platform using distributed ledger technology and open banking to automate savings. Bit of a mouthful, lots of words there that a 7-year-old certainly wouldn't understand, or a 97-year-old. Or they could say, we're a financial technology platform that helps people save automatically. That's enough in a social setting for an elevator pitch. Okay, I kind of get what you do, I'm interested. Or, another example might be, we're a digital transaction broker, or for connectivity and infrastructure between customers and suppliers in the technology sector. Or you could just say, we're an online marketplace for IT, connectivity and infrastructure services. Again, it's breaking it down into its most simple components. So try not to get over complicated, over technical. Just try and make that niche, that what you do, really clear and concise, and dumb it down so anyone can understand. People haven't got time to research. When you're talking to them and you're introducing yourself to them, people haven't got time to research what it is you actually do. So keep it simple. Then you need to move into that kind of origin, that kind of your background, your personal experience, your aha moment. So something that's impressive to others. You want to talk about something that's impressive to others and makes people realize that you're the only person that's able to make this idea a reality. So this is kind of the answer to the question, what are you best known for? What is it that you're best known for? What's your background? What personal experience do you have? Or what gave you that aha moment when you to start your business in the first place, if you are a startup? So ideally, you're going to talk about your background and your personal experience, some kind of insight that says you are the only person who can make this idea happen, especially if you're talking to an investor. So for the automated savings company, the founder might have said, I have a 20-year track record in financial services with SME Discounts, Doladex, and Aviva. So that's 3 brands that people may or may not know about, but it sounds impressive. A 20-year track record. This person, if anyone's going to be able to automate savings, I believe this guy could do it. He's not just come up with this idea. He's got a 20-year track record doing this stuff with both startups and corporates. For the online IT marketplace, they might say, I'm best known for establishing hyperscale startups within Facebook, Microsoft, and Disney. Whoa, okay, so you've been an entrepreneur for these massive brands, and now you're going on your own, and you're now building your own business. This person has credibility. I can imagine this person can make this business a success. If you feel like you don't have any personal experience that gives you specific insights into doing what you're doing today, so maybe you came up with an idea with friends, or it's somebody else's idea and you're the co-founder and you just love what they're doing and you want to be a part of it, but you don't necessarily have experience in that sector, you need to talk about that kind of aha moment. What made you want to join this venture? What made you have the idea? What problem did you come across? What was the origin of your idea? And that will get you through this bit. But it's best if you can leverage some of your experience and show individual insight, because that's often much more impressive than I came up with an idea once. So if you can, try and find something in your past that gives you credibility for what you're trying to achieve today. So that's the origin. Then we move into the goals section. Now, this is the only part of the elevator pitch that should change. Okay, so the goals are talking about what you're working on now or what you're trying to achieve right now. So this is the bit that changes. So I said to you earlier, we're currently oversubscribed with clients and we're looking to rapidly scale our capacity. So that's a situation we're in right now as a business, which is a good situation to have. But one of you out there might go, if I was talking to you one-to-one, but one of you out there might go, you know what, I know someone who's really great at doing financial projections or writing business plans. I'll introduce them to James. Suddenly I'm creating conversation, I'm creating leads for what I want. You might say, we're about to launch the beta of our product and we're looking for 20 beta testers to join our platform. Suddenly the person you're speaking to either says, I'd love to be a beta tester, or I've got a mate who would love what you're doing. Let me introduce you because I'm sure he'd love to be a beta tester for you. So yeah, that's kind of what the point of the goal is. Your goal might be, we're about to launch our fundraising campaign and we're launching a pre-seed round and we're looking to raise 150k SCIS investment. So whatever your goal is, whatever you're trying to work on, this is the thing that's going to generate conversation and get people thinking about how they can help you. And it's going to inspire people to come and help you. Just in answer to your questions, this is being recorded and it will be going on YouTube later today on our YouTube channel. And I'll be sharing it on LinkedIn and I'll be sharing it in the Facebook group Investable Entrepreneur as well. So you will be able to watch this back. So there's lots of different ways that you can change your goal. Later on in the journey, your goal might change towards you're actually looking to exit your business and you're looking for prospective buyers. Whatever that is you're trying to achieve right now. So this is the thing that tailors your pitch to that individual environment. And it's always worth, I find, is thinking about, especially when we're not in lockdown anymore and we're back to networking and going into networking events, thinking about who's at this event, what type of event, am I with fellow founders, or am I in a room full of people who are potential clients or potential partners, and making sure that you've got in your head what your goal is for the elevator pitch, for the room, for the sorts of people that you're talking to, and have a bank of 3 or 4 potential goals that you might switch in and out depending on what social circumstance you find yourself in. And finally, you've got your vision. So your vision is that big kind of, how am I going to change the world? I believe in this big thing. It's beyond making money. It's beyond that strategic vision, as I talked about. So it's a great place to end. It's that inspiring and uplifting kind of note to end the conversation on. So that the examples that I've been using of the company, the automated savings, might end with something like, we want to empower a nation of savers, helping millions of people transform their financial lives. Regardless of whether you kind of like his product or not, I'm pretty sure most of us would go, awesome. I wish you the best of luck. You're kind of engaged in what he's trying to achieve. We can all see the benefit in that. The online marketplace might say, we want to make digital procurement fairer, safer, and environmentally responsible. Again, it's just picking up some key points, some things that they believe in. If I believe that in too, if I've got a particular mission in my personal life to make things more, the world more environmentally responsible, I want to join them. So whether I'm a potential client or a potential partner or a potential investor, if that rings true with me, if that's something I'm passionate about too, we can have a conversation about it. We can bond over it. So that vision is really the thing that helps you to make that emotional connection with the person that you're speaking to. So a good way to do that is just to write out a load of sentences that start with the words I believe in, and then start writing some sentences and kind of come up with what your big vision is. So that's the elevator pitch. Introduction, niche, origin, goals, vision. If you can get those down into one sentence, you'll have yourself a clear and articulate kind of 30 to 40-second elevator pitch that's going to open doors, open conversations, force people to help you, because you can have that goal there that you're trying to set. They're going to connect with you on your vision, and they know exactly what you do and why you're the person to make it happen. So it's a great formula to use. It completely changes people's ability to create connections overnight when they start using this, and you start pitching in this format to people. When you introduce yourself, it completely changes the way that people engage with you. So hopefully you find that useful. It can take a little bit of, sometimes it can take half a day of just drafting loads of different ways of doing this, but once you've got it nailed, get it down on your phone, record yourself doing it on your phone, but write it down as a note on your phone. So whenever you're going into a meeting or a social situation, you can just have a recap of your elevator pitch, get it in your head, and then go out and deliver it. So that's the elevator. I hope you found that useful. Let's move on to the teaser pitch now, which is where we kind of express all of this information in a bit more depth. So as I said before, this is very much an overview of what you do. It's not the meat on the bones like a full sales pitch or a full partnership or a full investor pitch. It's just getting the audience to buy into what you do and buy into your vision and get them a bit more engaged. So it's the type of conversation you might have over coffee. You take them through these slides, or you would send it as a precursor to a meeting to get people involved. Some of our clients, where we do this, we do these sales pitches for some of our clients, and we do a teaser pitch as part of that. And they actually record themselves on something like Loom, presenting the teaser pitch, send the link to someone before they have that meeting, so that they've got a bit of an introduction as to what the business is about, which saves about 15-20 minutes in the meeting, and you can have a much deeper connection and conversation in that meeting. So these can be a really great tool for just introducing people. When we do investment pitches for people, and part of our delivery is a teaser pitch. Again, it's a great way of building a relationship with an investor, saying, rather than sending them a pitch and saying, I'm raising 150k, I'm raising 300k, I'm raising $500,000, do you want to commit some money to it? You can instead say, look, this is what we're trying to achieve at company X. I've attached an overview of that, and if it's something you're interested in, we'd love to talk to you in more detail about our full investment opportunity, and send you our full investor pitch, or have a one-to-one presentation. So you're kind of getting people to buy into that vision, have an emotional connection with you first, understand your value proposition before going into the depth and the detail and the meat on the bones of the proposition and the opportunity that you're presenting to someone. So this can be used regardless, whether you're doing a sales pitch, a partnership, an investor pitch, an exit pitch. The teaser pitch is the forerunner to any one of those pitching environments. So here's the formula for this one. So it's who you are, your origin again, your vision again, but then we go into the problem, the solution, the opportunity, and then we end on a call to action. So there's 7 stages to the teaser pitch that you should be using. So who you are, origin, vision, problem, solution, opportunity, call to action. So the introduction is very similar to the elevator pitch. It's who you are, your niche, your results. It's that same information. You might just pop it, execute it down into a slide deck instead of verbally. When writing your slide deck, it's often really good to think of something as a big headline, and then 3 or 4 bullet points. So you might have a big headline that introduces like your core competency, what you're best known for in a punchy way, and then bullet point that down into 2 or 3 or 3 or 4 bullet points. But again, it's all about keeping it very, very simple. So who you are, we kind of covered in detail with the elevator pitch, and it's just translating that into a slide presentation deck. Obviously, what you don't necessarily need to put on the slide itself is your name and company and position. But when you are presenting that to someone, you would always start off by introducing yourself, your name, and your your position and your company. Then you've got your origin story, and here you can have a bit more, you can expand a little bit more when you give the pitch onto your background, your personal experience, your aha moment. So it's the same idea as the elevator pitch, but rather than condensing it down into just one sentence, it might be a more of a longer narrative. So for example, my own origin story would be that the first time I ever learned of the power of communication when it came to raising capital was when I was 12 years old. At the age of 12, I was actually a scout, and I had the opportunity to go to the World Scout Jamboree in Thailand and represent my country, one of just 3,000 scouts from the UK, to go and meet 30,000 scouts from all over the world and represent my country. And it's something I really wanted to do, but it was really expensive. It was really expensive to go. Certainly not something my parents could afford. So I started fundraising. I started going out and trying to raise the money to get this trip to join this World Scout Jamboree just like I wanted. So I started putting flyers together, posting them through the door, getting neighbours to donate things that I could sell in the car boot sales and things like that. And then that progressed to me actually writing letters to my local council and local funds that raised money to give to various different charities. And I started writing to those, all with the goal of raising this money for this trip. And what actually happened was I was so successful in doing that I not only managed to raise enough money for me to go on the trip, but I also managed to pay half the money involved for one of my friends. So he was able to come as well because I'd raised enough to pay for him. And I'd also managed to raise enough that I had a decent amount of spending money when I went there, so I could go and buy loads of anything that I wanted as a souvenir. And it got to the end of the three-week camp, and I still had all of this Thai baht left, all of this Thai money left, and I didn't know what to do with it. So the whole unit, there was 30 of us in the unit, I just said, anyone who wants anything, come down the shop and I'll buy you some souvenirs, because I've got all this money and there's no point taking it home with me. And that felt really cool. That felt really good. As a 12-year-old kid, having more money than I could possibly spend felt really awesome. And that's when I kind of got the bug really for really understanding the power of communication and what that can do in terms of changing people's lives and being able to help people, not just yourself, but help other people. And that was an incredible feeling. So I kind of followed that passion throughout my early childhood and into my adulthood. And I started, went to university and started working at top 10 branding agencies. And I even started my own first business, my first business, which was a branding agency called Craft Associates. This was my first business failure as well. And it's all because I hadn't learned the art of pitching. I didn't know how to pitch. I'd created a great brand, but me and my business partner, who was my business partner today, is the business partner that I had at Craft Associates. We didn't really understand the power of pitch. We'd created a great brand, but we just weren't pitching it to people. We weren't getting out there. So this kind of led me to we had this build it and they will come mentality. We thought we could just create this awesome business, create this great brand, and people would just want to use us. And it kind of led me on a journey that resulted in me discovering the power of the pitch. And I've kind of, now I'm the co-founder of the UK's leading pitch agency, and we help entrepreneurs stop entrepreneurs making the same mistakes. So that is my full origin story, and I might give a version of that in a pitch environment because it allows people to connect with me personally. And during that conversation, if we were doing this more one-to-one or in a smaller group, we might be able to have a conversation about some of those things in that story. But it allows you to know me a little bit more personally and connect with me, hopefully on a slightly more emotional level than just a business level. So the origin story is really, really important. So have a think about something in your childhood or your past that connects to what you're doing today, and try and weave that journey from your background, your professional experience, your childhood, your professional experience, all the way through to what you're going to do now. And hopefully that then connects through to what your vision is as well, because that's the next slide. So the next thing you would talk about in your teaser pitch is your vision. And as we covered in the elevator pitch, it's it's that big, it's not that strategic vision. It's that big, big opportunity, that big kind of change you want to see to the world. So you can expand on it with a compelling story if you wish as well. But try, the best way to link the vision to the origin story is start to write, a few sentences starting with "I believe" or "I want to see a world in which." Or another way of doing it is to say, I get most excited when X combines with Y and this thing happens. So, something I said in my introduction was that, when great innovation meets inspiring communication, we believe it has the power to change the world. So that's one way of trying to articulate a vision. So hopefully by that point you've got this origin story that connects your past and your present, and then onto your vision that connects it up to the future and what you want to see. And there's this clear journey that you're going on as an individual that everyone can get behind and everyone can engage with. So once you've built that emotional connection with the audience that you're pitching to, you can then move on to the problem. So this is where things start to change depending on who you're going to be pitching to. So if this is going to be a teaser pitch ahead of investment, or a teaser pitch ahead of a partnership or an exit opportunity or a sales opportunity, these slides might start to change. But when it comes to a problem slide, you're usually talking about the problems that your customers have, or it might be the problems that your partners have that you feel you could solve by partnering together. But it's normally problems around money, time, emotion, health. It's those big problems. This is the type of thing you should have hopefully covered when you created your value proposition before you even started thinking about your business. But what we're trying to do is encapsulate these problems with, a main headline and a few points of detail. So for Robot Mascot, it might be, on our slide, we might have something that says, less than 1% of pitches results in investment. We find that many founders and entrepreneurs struggle to articulate their idea with clarity and confidence, are unable to create credible financial assets and projections, have business plans that fail to contain the vital information investors are looking for. So that would be it. We're summarizing the big problem. So one big headline that says that the big problem is pitches aren't working for entrepreneurs. Only 1% of them are succeeding. And then we go into 3 pieces of detail where we specifically break down 3 key problems that we know our audience have. So these could be time, it could be money, it could be an emotional thing, it could be health, it could be anything depending on your sector. But just think about what that big problem is that you're solving at a wider level, and that's your kind of big headline. And then what are 3 key kind of parts of that problem that when you break that big problem down, these are the 3 or 4 key things that are happening that mean that big problem happens. So once you've identified your problem, you then need to articulate the solution. So the solution slide, the solution part of the pitch, is kind of the ultimate result. So the headline in this case would be the ultimate result, what you want to achieve, or what your audience wants to achieve. And then you would go into the key benefits that you would get from solving that problem. So it's the same formula. You would have a heading that's the big overview, and then you would have the same number of bullet points in the solution slide as you would the problem slide. And the idea is those 2 things match up. And this is the thing that a lot of people don't do when they talk about problem and solution in a pitch. Is in an ideal world, you should have it so that your problems and your solutions match up. And the best way to do that is if you've got 3 bullet points, they connect to 3 levels of service or 3 types of things that you deliver through your package that connect the dots. So problem 1 equals solution 1, problem 2 equals solution 2, problem 3 equals solution 3. So people can quite easily through that pitch connect the dots. They can see how you solve the problems that you've identified. And all too often a solution slide and a problem slide don't match up. And that's where you start to lead to communication trouble. So in the case of Robot Mascot, that next slide would be in our teaser pitch. We'll get you pitch ready. We'll create a compelling pitch that quickly and clearly explains to investors why they should invest. Our team of experts will create the financial assets you need to convince investors, and will ensure you have a credible business plan that stands up to investor scrutiny. So when you see those on a slide and you take this through a pitch in sequential order without me in the middle trying to explain everything to you, there'll be a clear connection between the problem, which was people can't communicate their idea properly, they don't have the financial assets in place, and they don't have a business plan that stacks up, to a solution that says we have services that deliver all these things and fix all those problems. So that's what we're trying to do between the problem and the solution slide in a sales scenario. In a corporate partnership scenario, it would be the same thing, but you would identify the problems that you'll be solving through a corporate partnership and how your corporate partnership with them would solve those solutions for them. But it's the same principle, that the problem matches up with the solution. It's really simple, really, but it's surprising how few people actually think about it in those terms. Instead, they just talk about their product, or they think that when they talk about their solution, they talk about the technology. You don't need to talk about the technology. It's the ultimate result. It's the benefits that they get. You can talk about your fancy technology when it comes to the full sales pitch, or the full investor pitch, or the meeting after that pitch. You don't need to talk about the details of that in the teaser pitch, in the initial introduction, because you'll lose your audience. Then you move into the opportunity slide. So this is now setting the scene of kind of what a future relationship might look like. So you might, this is really going to change depending on the type of pitch that you're warming people up to. So if it's a sales pitch, you would talk about your product or your service in more detail. If it's the investment, a teaser pitch for investment, you might talk about the investment opportunity. So how much are you raising, and what are you going to achieve with that investment? And if it's a partnership, you'd be looking at talking about the opportunity between of how you might engage with each other to so that you can solve their corporate problems through a partnership, and what that might look like. So it's just setting the scene of what the opportunity is. This is kind of saying, this is how I think we could work together. Let's discuss this now. So in an investment deal, you'd say we're looking to raise 1 million, which will give us an 18-month runway to achieve X, Y, and Z. Our round opens in September, and we're aiming to close the round by mid-November. That's just setting out the opportunity. You're not asking for their commitment. You're just explaining, if you don't get involved in rounds of 1 million in size, then you now know that you're speaking to the wrong person. If you don't have any money available between September and mid-November, then it's also pointless taking this forward and having a formal presentation or discussion. You're giving them the key details that they need to know whether this opportunity that you're offering matches with their expectations. You might say to a partner that you see many, there's great mutually beneficial opportunities between the two companies. We do this, you do that. If we were to do these two things together, if we were to combine forces, we both do very different things, but for the same audience. Perhaps we could look at sharing content or doing joint events or whatever it may be. You would have this formulated. We'd be able to share our audiences and cross-fertilize our sales funnels, and it would be a win-win for both parties. Things like that is setting the scene, kind of painting the picture of what this could look like, and then opening up the discussion so they can then come in with their own ideas of how that partnership might work. Rob, in answer to your question, the teaser pitch, you would look for anything between a 10 to 20 minute presentation. You can, it depends on the scenario, but you're not doing a long presentation. It might be, in some cases, it might be a 5-minute presentation, and you whip through these slides very, very quickly. So it depends on the scenario, and and once you get good at this, you actually find that when you're in meetings, you tend to draw the conversation through this structure. You tend to make sure that you have the conversation, you hold the conversation, you guide it through this structure because you know it works. So sometimes it's not even as formal as a pitch with slides. Sometimes it is just a phone call or a conversation, but you're using this narrative, using this structure to guide the conversation. So this is often in a lot of cases, this is the only slide that needs changing. So if you have a partner pitch set up, it might be that just this slide changes for every partnership opportunity that you're talking about, because this is where the specifics come out. Natasha, it's not the same thing. The teaser pitch, as I said, is a pre-runner. So a pitch deck is a thing. It's a presentation document in PowerPoint. That's your pitch deck, and you would have, you know, those 7 pitches, or apart from the elevator pitch, so those six or so pitches that I listed at the beginning would all have their own pitch deck. So you would have a teaser pitch deck, you'd have a sales pitch deck, you'd have a partnerships pitch deck. The pitch deck is the execution of it. You'd have an investor pitch deck. The teaser pitch is just another one of your pieces of collateral that you're going to use to get people interested in what you have to do and want to listen to a full sales pitch, which might be a half-hour, 45-minute presentation. This is just your 10 to 20-minute introduction to get them to want to book in a full 30 to 45-minute sales presentation or a 30 to 45-minute investment presentation. So once you've articulated the opportunity for the two parties to work together, you and your prospect, or you and your potential partner, or you and your investor, you want to find out whether they're actually interested. So you want to make sure you include a call to action. So you're trying to tell them what you think the best next step will be. You want to be specific, and you want to seek the no. You want to try and find them. You want to try and make them say, no, I'm not interested. And I'll tell you why. So the call to action might follow something like this. You might say, if you're interested in working together, I'd love to book a time next week to sit down with you and discuss our proposal in more detail. Is that something you'd be interested in? It's absolutely fine if what I've proposed doesn't work for you. I appreciate that this isn't an opportunity for everyone. So you're making it okay for them to say no, because you don't want them to waste your time. You know, we're trained as humans to be polite and say yes. We've been told, you know, brought up by our parents that you have to be kind and you can't say no, and we have these behaviors within us that sometimes makes it hard for us to say no to people. So you want to make it okay for them to say no first and foremost. Otherwise, you're going to waste time in a longer presentation to someone who doesn't actually believe in what you do or want to get involved in what you do. And you're probably going to get 5 responses from that question. Best case scenario, and this has happened to some of our clients, you'll deliver your teaser pitch, you'll give them the call to action. Is there an opportunity for us to talk in more detail next week? And they'll actually say, have you got 30 minutes now? I'm going to cancel my next appointment because this is awesome and I need it, which is a great result. And that's happened to some of our clients. They give the teaser pitch and they want the sales pitch straight away. More often than not, it will be an absolutely, let's book something in now, in which case that's a great result. You might get, this sounds great, but I can't do next week. Please liaise with my PA and we'll book something in. That's positive, but it's possibly a slow no. It's possibly them trying to be a nice and kind way of saying, no, I'm not interested, and that PA is never going to get back to you. So always try and get something, the next step, booked in there and then if you can. You might get a yeah, sounds interesting, I'll be in touch. That's probably a no, but just them trying to be polite. So don't fall for investors or potential clients saying, yeah, sounds interesting, I'll be in touch. Almost always that's a no. So by all means follow up, but don't hold your hopes too high. It'd be much better to get them to say, to turn around and say, okay, so you actually, are you interested, or are you just being polite? You can be very honest about this. Or you'll get, I'm not sure this fits with our plans, but thank you anyway. Right, so at least they're not wasting your time. That's almost better than a yeah, it sounds interesting, I'll be in touch. I'd rather that they just said no, it's not for me. and then no one's wasting any of their time. So you're always you're either trying to get a commitment to something, to another meeting, or you're trying to get a, no, this doesn't really fit with our plans right now, but thanks for your time anyway. They're what you're aiming for. Anything in the middle is often what I call a slow no. We're just being polite, and we're kind of saying it sounds interesting, but we're not genuinely interested. And investors do this a lot. They will say, believe it or not, it's not like Dragon's Den. They're not as harsh in real life as they are on the telly. Investors are much more relationship led. They're relationship builders. They don't want to turn you away, because you might turn into something that you might pivot, you might get some successes, and suddenly you're someone that they would really like to back. So often, if you're not quite right for them right now, they'll say, oh, this really does look really interesting. It's something that I could see myself investing in. And you think, yes, I've got an investor. And when it comes to the crunch, they were just being polite. They didn't really have the money or the capital to invest right now. They certainly weren't interested in investing in your round right now, but they were keeping that relationship open, keeping that door open. So be careful of those kind of, yeah, it sounds interesting, let's keep in touch type phrases, because it often means that your pitch didn't land, or they're just being polite, and you need to just work with them a little bit to find out, is this actually something that we can work with? So that's the formula. Who you are, origin, vision, problem, solution, opportunity, call to action. People who apply this formula, they get to charge more, they get to raise more, they get to sell more. When you can get your teaser pitch right, you're setting yourself up to have a great sales conversation, a great investment conversation, a great partnership conversation. It's that pre-runner to making and setting the scene to make sure that those main pitches, the main things that you're going to be delivering, actually deliver, and you're not wasting your time doing those big long pitches to people who maybe weren't interested. This is the way of filtering some people out before you go and spend lots of time pitching to people who just don't care what you have to offer, or are not in the market to buy. Even if they do care, they're not in the market to buy or invest in a company right now. So we've got about 5 minutes left. So before we go, I'm just going to go mistakes that I see. Sorry, it's actually 8. I've made it 8 now, and I forgot to update this slide. So there's actually 8 mistakes I'm going to take you through, that people often make when creating these pitches, or delivering a pitch. So the first thing is coming across too desperate. It's a real skill in having this sort of, I'm gonna be successful anyway. It doesn't matter if it happens with or without you. Kind of having this attitude of confidence that I'm going to be successful. I'm talking to enough investors. I'm going to get the investment I need. I'm talking to enough clients. I'm going to get the clients I need. I've got loads of partnership opportunities because I've had such great response from the elevator pitch I've been giving. I've got so many of these teaser pitches, so many of these introductory pitches lined up. It doesn't matter whether or not this goes ahead. You're just one of many people I'm talking to. If you can have that attitude, even if you don't have a line of people, some of the best tactics that I was ever taught when I first started out in business was to never give anyone their first, if someone says, are you available Tuesday for a chat? Even if you've literally got nothing in your diary because you've got no business on whatsoever, say no and tell them that you're busy and that you've got the only time that works for you is Thursday afternoon or Friday morning, because that puts you in a bit more control. It makes you not look desperate, and people don't like doing business with desperate people. They would like doing business with confident people who have got their shit together. So try to not act desperate. Try to have that kind of confidence that this is going to happen whether you want to back me or not, and that will set you in good stead. A lack of clarity. So going through this formula, but having, using the wrong language, using language that's there's too much waffle, or there's a lack of clarity in the language that you use. The third is no differentiation. So this is where you kind of get your niche wrong, or you've got no authority in your space. So why are you the person to trust? Why are you able to make this brand this happen? Why is your product better than anybody else's? What actually differentiates you from everyone else that might be pitching to them? So really have a think as to whether the language you use in your pitch really differentiates you from everybody else, or are you just saying the same things as everybody else? The fourth thing is something we call Me Tooism at Robot Mascot. It's this term that we've coined. And this is where you look and sound like everybody else. You're not looking in deep inside for your own unique vision and your own unique authority. So the great thing about this structure with the origin story and the vision is that hopefully you're looking deep inside. So even if you have the type of business, so say you're an accountancy firm and you do accountancy services just like every other accountancy firm, and there is no differentiation between your product, but there should be a differentiation between your origin story and your vision. So that's your own personal story and your personal unique part of your business that allows you to talk and sound and smell like somebody very different to the other accountancy firm that I've been talking to down the road. So this is a real trick to even if you're offering something that's similar to what's already out there, actually give yourself a sense of being unique. And that's why this formula works. The fifth is jargon, so avoiding industry speak and overused phrases. So industry speak is self-explanatory. You know, it's unlikely that the people you're talking to is going to understand the term distributed ledger technology if you're in that space. So break it down, make it simple. But other thing that really annoys me is these overused phrases. You know, my product's a game changer. We've got an ecosystem. We're revolutionary. All of these things just sound a little bit crass, and it almost challenges the person that you're pitching to say, I bet you're not. I bet you're not revolutionary. I bet I've seen something like this before. So you're almost goading them to try and argue with you. So you're much better off having using less of those kind of overused phrases. The sixth is something we call omnicular overreach. And this is where you focus on too many features, too many verticals, too many sectors, or too many opportunities, and your pitch kind of merges into this kind of weird, blurry mess of kind of, I don't really know what it is you're trying to achieve, because you're talking about all these different verticals, all these different sectors, all these different products. You know, what are you focusing on right now? So keep that pitch single-minded. You may have all these other great ideas and all these other opportunities that are in your head, and you're just excited to tell everyone about how big this could be and all these different things. But for everyone listening, it just gets really confusing. So try and keep that pitch single-minded and to the point, and about one thing, one opportunity. So with a teaser pitch with a partner, there might be 4 or 5 different partnership opportunities with that potential corporate partner or commercial partnership. Maybe just talk about one of them, the best one or the most exciting one, and let the other ones come out in further discussions once you've got them hooked. Don't try and do everything all at once. The 7th is not practicing. So not practicing your pitch again and again, do the same talk again and again. Practicing to your family doesn't count. Practicing to your partner doesn't count. You need to practice it to people who don't know you. You need to practice it to people who will be honest with you. So make sure you practice that as much as possible. Practicing in front of the mirror doesn't really count either. So try and get some real life pitching experience by going along to pitch events and networking events and actually stepping up and saying, I'm going to give a presentation, or I'm going to get together with a group of fellow founders and fellow entrepreneurs to practice your pitches together. And then finally is not researching. So not properly researching your target audience, not properly researching the people that you're pitching to and what they're trying to achieve. So you may go into a partnership pitch and you can see a great partnership, but do they see it and do they actually care about it? So do you know that they have a problem that you can solve through a partnership? Have you done your research there? Do you know what's going to make them want to partner with you? Or are you just guessing? The same with an investor. There's no point pitching to an investor unless you've researched that they are interested in your sector, they invest in the type of rounds that you're pitching for. So if you go and try and pitch to an angel investor that doesn't get involved in a series A round, then there's absolutely no point in pitching your series A round to them. So make sure you do your research on the people that you're pitching to, so that you can make sure that you're pitching the right thing. And that brings us to the end. So that's the art of pitching. Hopefully you've got some great insights today on how you can build your own pitch and start using these formats to really start to communicate much more clearly. My own call to action to end my pitch with you is if you are seeking investment, if you are thinking that you need to start raising money for your business, then you might want to take our Pitch Ready scorecard. So this scorecard, it's completely free. It's a short questionnaire that you can answer yes or no questions. It takes less than 5 minutes, and after that you'll get a free 12-page report with your score across 3 critical areas of raising investment, and you can see how well you're performing in each of those areas, and the report will give you advice and support on how you can improve your score in each of those areas to make yourself more investable. So if you are thinking about raising investment, you might like to take our Pitch Ready scorecard, and you can access that at pitchready.co.uk. And that is everything from me today. So thank you all for coming along. I hope you got a lot out today, and that brings us to the end, and I'm going to sign off here. So thank you all, and speak to you again soon.